Okay, guys, so we're going to start our scatter plot section, or some really called line of best fit or trend line. So on the screen, you'll just see a definition of a scatter plot. A scatter plot is a graph of a collection of ordered pairs x, y. Over the next couple slides, I'll really go into something that it happens a lot in scatter plots with trends. Trend is kind of it's like it says, it's scattered. So what we do in mathematics is we try to draw a line of best fit and then write an equation to help us predict future events. Scatter plots graph looks like a bunch of dots. The most important thing about scatter plots is I don't want you guys to connect the dots and make it into like a heartbeat graph, or where it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. Because if you do that, you won't be able to predict a lot of information. So let's move on. The first type of trend that you'll see is a positive trend. A positive trend is when you have the x coordinate and the y coordinate both increasing, then it is a positive trend. This means that both are going up. So for example, if you ever see a graph that looks like this, it just goes, okay, that's pretty hard to connect all the dots, so I don't want to connect the dot. But from the general overall pattern, I can see that it's moving in a positive direction, because as my x is increasing, so are my y values. So that's called a positive trend. A quick way to do this also is using a straight line tool or a ruler, and you just kind of draw a straight line, and you can tell that by my graph, my line, that it's moving in a positive direction. In other words, it has a positive slope. Negative trend. A negative trend is the opposite effect of that. So as one is increasing, the other one is decreasing. So a common negative trend I'm going to draw as my x value is increasing. Oops. As my x value is increasing, my y value is decreasing. So it just to quick, it may look something like this. We move this over here. So I'll start here and then move in a general negative direction. I can quickly draw a line, and I can tell that that will give me a negative trend or a negative slope. Next, we'll also have something called a no trend. A no trend, if there seems to be no pattern at all, and the points look scattered, then it's no trend. It literally just looks like it's smattered all over the page. So an example of that will look something like this. You can have just a very scattered. If you want to draw a line, it's kind of difficult to draw any type of trend line, because your data is literally moving, scattering all over the place. You can't really tell if there's a positive or negative trend. So that would be then called a no trend. So here's an example of a question that you'll be asked a lot. Does the scatter plot below show a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? Some of us can just see right away that as x value is increasing down here, my y value is decreasing. If you're not really sure, go ahead and use the straight line tool and just draw in the general direction. And in this case, it looks like my y-intercept might be at 80, and I'm moving in a downward way as x is increasing, y is decreasing. So this would definitely be a negative. Don't forget your tells. My title will just be average trend. Age of grade levels. So in this case, if you guys look at your t-table, in class we've talked about it a lot. If you ever get a horizontal t-table, a general rule of thumb is that your x will always be your top row, your grade will always be your y. I've already constructed the first quadrant, because it kind of makes sense. If you're going to deal with age and grade level, you're not going to go into the negatives. So let's just plot this real quick. So at age 7, I will be in grade 2. And this is just a rough graph. It doesn't have to be super exact. Age 9, you'll be in grade 3. Age 8, you'll be in grade 3. Because, you guys can transition, or more importantly, depending on when you were born. Age 12, you'll be in grade 7. Age 13, you will be in grade 7. Age 11, you will be in grade 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I missed 10. At age 10, you will be at grade 4. And quickly you can tell that this is going to be a scatter plot and this has a positive trend. So when you have a positive trend and you need to write an equation for this situation, what I would do is just try to connect at least 2 points to find the slope and really 3 points to be safe. So I can kind of tell on this from my graph that I can connect those 2 points, almost 3 points right there. Yeah, so I'll do those 3 points. You don't always have to do the first and the last. You can if you want, but try to go some in between. More importantly, your line should show that all your other points are really close to that line. So these 2 points right here that I'm pointing out on the screen shows that, you know what, they're pretty close to my trend line that I'm drawing. This point is also pretty close. I don't have any points that's really far away, so that's what I really want. Now, let's write an equation. The equation we're going to write in today is the same one that we've been writing all week long, is y is equal to mx plus b. So m is my slope, and b is my y-intercept. My y-intercept is that one y value when x is 0. So let's find slope. You have to pick, when you do your trend line, you have to pick the points that you actually went through with your line. So I'm going to do this point and this point. So at age 10, grade 4, I'll use that point. And age 8, grade 3, I'm just going to go ahead and list them as ordered pair over here. I get 8, 3, 10, 4. Okay, and then I'm going to practice using the slope formula. Slope formula is going to be m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, there are my 2 points. This is x, this is y, this is x2, y2, and then just substitute them in. I get 4 minus 3 and 10 minus 8, which is 4 minus 3 is 1, 8 is 2. So my slope is going to be positive 2. Interpretation of the slope: for every year of increase on average of 1 grade level, you're increasing by 2 age. Okay, so that kind of makes sense because you're in between years. You're born in September, you could be born in the summer. So my slope right now is change in y is 1 over change in x is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and change color. So I have right now y is equal to 1/2 x plus b. Now I need to find my b value. My b value can be found by simple substitution of my x and y that I chose from my line. So I'm going to erase this 2 points. The 2 points I'm going to continue to use is 8,3 and 10,4. So let's go ahead and use 8,3. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use 8,3 because 8,3 lies on my trend line. This is x, this is y. What I'm going to do is substitute this x value into here and this y value into here. So I would just get 3 is equal to 1/2 x is 8, multiply that, plus b. The reason why I want to do that is if you see on your equation, all you have left is b. And then from here you can solve doing the substitution method, you can do the undo table, whatever you want. I'm going to do the substitution method, or the balancing method. 1/2 times 8 is 4, so 4 plus b is equal to 3, because this is my orders of operations right here. 1/2 times 8 is 4. Subtract 4 from both sides, and I get b is equal to -1. So in my equation now, I have my y-intercept, I have my slope, put them together. Y is equal to 1/2 x minus 1. And that's my equation for my scatter plot, more importantly for my trend line. So if I wanted to, I can go back, and you guys understand that the trend line is just a rough estimation on average. Some questions that a lot of students ask is, Ms. Nguyen, how can you have a negative trend or a negative y-intercept for grade? You know, this is a scatter plot, so this is just an average. We want to come up with this equation so then I can put in for x my age and predict any grade level that I want. You can put in, you know, at 16, and then it'll give you the grade level. So let's test that real quick. Let's test our rule. So we get Here I'm going to put in y is equal to 1/2. Let's do the age of 16. The reason why we want to come up with the rule is that it allows us to predict future events. So 1/2 of 16, so I get y is equal to 8 minus 1/2 minus 1. I get y is equal to 7. Now, see, that's where it kind of messes up. You're like, okay, at age 16, if I look on my graph and I follow this trend line, I should be way above 7. But again, this is the law of averages, rule of averages, a scatter plot. It just helps us predict. It's not always true. And more importantly, it depends on how you draw your line. Your line might be different than mine later on. So just remember, you need to draw a line through 2 points, 3 to make it kind of exact, not exact, but an average. Find the slope, find the y-intercept by doing simple algebraic solving, doing, undoing. And then we'll go over more in class. So make sure you guys are whistling in your notebook.